everyone, welcome to another conversation with me in the series called Inner Peace and Security. I hope you're doing really well. Before I get started with the message, I want to remind you to like, share, and subscribe the video and put on your notification bell so you can keep connected with me, and to also comment on the video. Doing all of this helps to support the channel grow, as well as support my dream of helping you broadcasting this information and getting in touch with more people. And it helps the YouTube algorithm. Recognize when the audience likes something and it should be shared with more people. All right, thank you so much in advance. I will begin this conversation regarding to inner peace and security with adventures. So how does that relate to adventures in life? How does having inner peace and security relate to the adventures that we allow ourselves to have, or the adventures that we connect with, that we vibrate with, so that we can have a transformational exploration, and we can continue to grow, we can release what no longer serves us, we can allow room for freedom to be courageous, freedom to be ourselves, freedom to take action, freedom to step into new responsibilities, things that help us to grow, things that help us to discover who we are, and also to continue to allow us to develop and move forward. So this is the conversation we will be having with regards to inner peace and security. So what does the word adventure mean to you? What comes to mind when you hear the word adventure? Those are some of the things that I like to touch base on from the beginning. When you hear someone ask you, what does X, Y, and Z mean? First, the question is, what does that mean to me? Do I know the definition of that word? How have I experienced adventure before? How has it been in my life when adventure does come into my life? How do I handle it? Am I open to adventure? Am I reluctant to be adventurous? Do I like more of a routine? Do I like things to be planned out? Do I like the flurries, the changes, the creativity, all like the chaotic aspects that involve an adventure? Those are the things that that maybe will come to my mind. So what comes to mind for you? And if you are not able to like connect with phrases or words right away, look up the dictionary meaning of what that word means to you, or look up the phrase and see how it relates to your life. See how your own ideas of what adventure is correlates with the ideas that have been defined by others or that have been experienced by others. All right, because that will help you to assess like your place when it comes to these things. Where are you at? Where are you willing to open up with regards to the adventures that you experience in life? And when we talk about inner peace and security, the adventures that we allow ourselves to experience can bring us inner peace. It can bring us a sense of security, but it really depends on whether you or not you want that adventure. Like if someone says, let's go water rafting, and you've never been water rafting and you have no interest in water rafting, you're just doing it for the sake of doing it, then that might not bring you inner peace and security. That may be the complete opposite for you. So that's why you have to assess the situation and figure out what it means for you. But when you allow adventures to come in and you embrace the adventures, depending on what the adventure is leading you towards, it is an opportunity to transform. It is an opportunity to change. And what does transformation mean? What will the outcome of that transformation be? Sometimes you don't know, right? Like in the genetic code of the caterpillar, it knows that when it transforms into a butterfly, it's going to be a butterfly. It's written, it's predicted. But not all transformations happen in that way. Sometimes we're not completely sure how we're transforming or how we're developing, but sometimes we are, because because we know ourselves. And I'm going to repeat something that I've been repeating throughout this whole series or throughout all my videos about knowing yourself, because I think that is such an important thing, to take time to know yourself, to take time to figure out what your baseline is, what your foundation is. So whenever things change, or whenever you're looking for change or wanting some kind of change, you know what you're willing to go along with, and you know what you're unwilling to go along with. So that's why you have to have something to tether you to, because if you are in a transformative state and you don't know yourself, you go with it along with anything, and that anything may not be beneficial to you at the end of the day. It may not bring you value. It may bring someone else value, but it may not bring you value. And that's why it's important to know, or to be aware of, how you want to transform. Let's say you're a new college student, right? And the transformation process can be you moving from college to the workforce. Where is it that you're trying to go? Maybe you don't have an idea. Maybe you start off with saying, I just want to get a job in the field that I graduated from. And from there, you allow yourself to feel out what's going on within the job market, or feel out what you don't like. Maybe you did an internship that's going to give you a foundation as to where you want to transfer, transform, or become in the sense of your career. And that gives you like an idea of how you want to continue to develop and grow to get to the certain space or status that you want. But for example, if you've gone to college and you haven't really paid attention, you've kind of just been going through the flow and the motion of everything, you haven't done like maybe an internship, and you go into the workforce, you're transforming into wherever you can get a job, and that may cause you to dislike work, or dislike what you're doing, and feel like you don't want to work because you haven't been able to land something that is in alignment with you. So that's why it's important to understand where that transformation is taking you, at least to have an idea of where it's taking you. We don't always know the end result, right? Just sometimes there are things left to the mystery. We can only predict our behavior. We can not necessarily predict, but we can only count on our behavior right here, right now, and how it might possibly take us to a possible outcome. We don't always know what that outcome is definitively, right? So by knowing the process of your transformation and by being open to it, you improve your ability to release what no longer serves you, so you can enjoy more of life, so you can continue to glow and flourish, so you can let go and allow for the transitional process to happen. Like for example, let's talk about nature. Nature is always transforming, right? It has a set season that it transforms. You have winter, you have spring, summer, fall. It is always that transition that's consistent throughout the world. That is something we all can say, yes, this is a fact, and this is a process of transformation. And for the fall season, right, you start to see the leaves change, and then they start to fall off, and that is an indication that there is a change happening. So what do you need to release in your fall season or in your winter season? What do you need to keep close to yourself so you can be protected throughout the season, so when spring comes, you can be ready to grow again, and when summer comes, you can really be in full blossom of your experience and what you've started as a transformational process. That will allow you to have the freedom to grow, right? To flourish, to be able to move from the storm or from the spaces that you're not quite understanding at the time, and to flourish and to explore other spaces, and go from different areas. And because that's what does freedom mean, right? Freedom is the ability to choose your own path. Freedom is the ability to be free, to be open, to soar, to explore. And adventure is about freedom, to a sense. Like if you allow yourself to be adventurous, if you allow yourself to go into these adventures, right, having a foundation, understanding and having an idea of who you are, what you want out of life, but open to the changes, open to taking on something new. And a description can be like on the mundane everyday level, right? you have to move somewhere, and the transformational process is like, well, I know this is what I want to do. I want to move somewhere. The foundation is, what work can I get? Because all of us like work to a certain extent. We need to make money. So how can I make money? If I move, where can I move that I know that I'll be able to get a job? I know that I'll be able to put a roof over my head. I'll be able to work. What is important to you through that transformation? Do you want somewhere where there's a lot of open space and a lot of open air? Do you want something more like a city environment, urban, suburban environment? What is it that you want? So you set that foundation for the transformation to happen. And the adventure part of it is moving to a whole new city, moving to a whole new neighborhood, getting to know people that you're not familiar with, getting to know individuals, cultures. It could be all that. That's the adventure. And by releasing your preconceived notions about how it's going to be, like, it was like this before I moved, so I'm going to release that. I'm going to have some baseline information about how to interact with people that are not going to change. But I'm also going to release the concept that I'm going to treat everybody the same that I used to treat these people. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow myself in this new space to observe, to learn, the freedom to open up. And then so I can then connect with people on a different level by understanding what it is that I need to learn in this new space. And that gives you freedom to maybe even like change something about yourself. Like maybe people in this environment knew you this way, and in this environment you can completely flourish and open your wings up, right? Maybe in this environment you were the person that was always like the go-to person. Maybe in this environment you're not the go-to person anymore, and you're able to just completely be free and not have the responsibility of people depending on you. We don't know the situation. I'm just giving you examples, and you have to apply them to your own life if you are resonating with this message with regards to inner peace and finding security. And by giving yourself room, you've gained the ability to have freedom, and you release the idea of having to be tethered in one place, the idea of having to be in one thing, be in one area, be whatever else you think you should be. You start to map out your own space, your own road, your own horizon, right? You look forward to other things because you want to continue to grow, you want to continue to evolve. And by allowing yourself these moments to get into these spaces of adventure, what you're doing is building your own experiences so that you continue to move forward, you continue to grow, however it is that you're trying to develop in your experience right now. So let's bring this message full circle. We're talking about inner peace and security and how it relates to the adventures that you're having in your life. What does that mean for you? How does being adventurous bring you a sense of inner security, inner peace and security? How does that not sometimes bring you that? Because we talked about going water rafting, and if you're not into that and somebody encourages you to do it, that may not be the adventure that brings you inner peace and security. It may be the adventure that says, hey, I never want to do this again, and I'm secure and peaceful in that I've experienced this and I never want to do it again. So it's about defining the adventures that you want. And you're like, how do I define the adventures that I want? That it's about knowing yourself. It's about, again, understanding who you are, what you can tether to, what you can ground yourself with, and then allow the room to flourish by having new experiences. And by new experiences, I mean things that are outside of your scope in the sense of development. Like, let's say you have a certain idea about life, like You've learned about life through your family, your friends, your close-knit community, and having an adventure means maybe introducing something that you weren't taught or something that you are questioning based on what you were taught, and that is a new adventure. Stepping away from what you're comfortable with, stepping away from what you know to be comfortable or what you know to be true, and that transforms you into someone else. By someone else, the physical, not the physical aspect, but it could transfer you into the physical aspect, but we're talking about mentally, emotionally, learning emotional intelligence, learning how to critically think, learning to connect with your intuition and your higher self, and being confident that your evolution is something that's going to bring you value, is something that's going to help you grow. And as you do that, you release these preconceived notions about all these things that you may not be fulfilling you, that may not be helping you to grow as a person, that may have been keeping you small in a little box. And especially if that's not what you've wanted. Some people, and by small, I don't mean like you're a small person in the physical sense or even in the emotional or mentality sense. I mean that you've allowed or you've kept yourself in a certain limit, and and now you're deciding to break out of that limit, cross the limitation, and see what is on the other side of the horizon, see what's under the other side of the line you've drawn for yourself, or see what's outside of the box for yourself. And thinking outside the box has helped a lot of people to make new adventures, to inventions, to discover new horizons about our own existence as human beings, about ideas, about the concepts of how we exist in this reality. So sometimes it's important to think out of the box. Whenever someone tells you to think out of the box, ask them, how are you trying to get me to think out of the box? What do you mean by thinking out of the box? Set kind of like I mentioned before, set some kind of understanding of how thinking out of the box is related to me, because thinking out of the box can be something so far-fetched that it causes you to retract, and then you become more closed in because that is so outside of your scope. That is not something that you're willing to step into. And we don't, you never want to force somebody to think out of the box. You want people to discover their own limitations and to be willing to try something new, to be willing to open up. So when we talk about the transformation, again, we talked about releasing. How does releasing help your inner peace and security? It takes away the weight. It helps you to have less burdens. It helps you to feel more freedom. It helps you to make room for other things to be introduced into your life, when you're not carrying a bunch of things that are no longer necessary or no longer needed for your purpose, your journey, or what you want to experience in this life. And that gives you a level of freedom. When sometimes when they say there's a transformational energy out there, clean your house, clean your space, because that removes clutter. That helps you to take away some things that no longer serve you. So it becomes a physical cleanse that reacts in an emotional way too, because it triggers you to cleanse yourself emotionally, or vice versa. You cleanse yourself emotionally, and all of a sudden you just want to clean your whole house or your whole space because you're done with whatever it is that you were holding on to. So that is the opportunities that occur when we make room for things to be released and allow for more freedom into our lives. And that helps you to continue to move forward. That helps you to grow. All right. I hope this energy was helpful to you. I hope I connected with you and shared some information that was of value to you with regards to transformation, with regards to how inner peace and security can be gained when we allow ourselves to experience some adventures, when we understand what adventures we're willing to step into, and not necessarily jump in with the blindfold on, but jump in knowing this is where a potential landing spot might be as a person who is having some alignment with this adventure, and that gives you room to release what no longer serves you. You don't take a bunch of stuff with you on the adventure. You only take what's necessary, your foundation and your ability to be open, and that brings you or takes you into a space of freedom, so you don't have to be weighed down by excess information, excess noise, like people in your ear telling you X, Y, and Z, giving you their opinion, and all these other things that happen, especially with social media, especially with everything that's happening, all the information that we're constantly taking in. You know, it helps you to shut down the noise in your head so you can think clearly and experience your adventure full-mindedly. I don't think that's a word, but in a full, clear mind. It's like your mind is full and clear, but you know what I mean, right? So that allows you to continue to move forward and to grow. All right. I hope, again, you like this, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you found this valuable, because this is a way for you to help me. That's the cheapest way to do it. It doesn't cost you anything, just to click a button, and maybe your time, because you